recording. Let's go. So yay, go. So let's start with a completely new project. I already create a new project, which is the test here, right? Go into the test, open the code editor. Someone chatting with me. Okay, whatever. Alright, here we go. So inside this project here, we have an app.js which has nothing. I'm gonna create one. I'm gonna redo the whole Redux again, which is very simple. We also only have two components, the parent and the children component. Inside the children, we want to set state the parent. That's it, right? Not really the parent and the children. Maybe just one component. It's okay. We don't use the state, but we're gonna use Redux. And in order to use Redux, remember to do npm install Redux and React Redux. Okay. In here, I'm gonna create a Redux file. A folder here. Redux. I'm gonna call this one Redux. Oh my god, my computer is so slow. Inside here, create another index file. Oh my god, it's so slow. Anyway, this is what I'm listening to. Quit it. So slow. Okay, so the first thing we want to create a reducer function. Function reducer. You can name it different, anything you want. Let's say my reducer function. And the reducer, we need two arguments. The first is the state, right? We want to have an initial state. It can be empty object like this, and an action, or you can define initial state. Call initial state equal an object. Our state is somewhere an object, and we're gonna have the user object, right? But let's say it's no. By default, it's no. Initial state. And inside our reducer function, we can have if-else condition, but usually people will use switch case. Mostly, yeah. So we're gonna use switch. We want to check the action.type value. Inside here, we're gonna have a couple of cases. The first case is gonna be login. And login, we have state. We have a state here. State.user equal. For now, just follow what I'm doing, and I will show you the errors and how to fix them, right? State.user is gonna be what should it be? Payload. Action.payload, sorry. Action.payload user, for example, we're gonna pass the user when we call the action, and we should have a default case. Default state equals state. That's it. And then we're gonna return the state. For now, just follow this one. There's gonna be error in here, but just follow it. And then we're gonna create a store. Default store equal to create store. And how do I know all about this? It's written in the docs. I will show you how to read it. the argument is going to be my reducer here. I'm going to copy it and put it in here. So we need to import create store in order to use it. Import create store from Redux. I don't know, just gonna read the documentation here. Go to redux.js.org and you have the on the left panel here you have a couple of tutorials on how to use all of them. The first thing here, we want to see the reducer, how to define reducers. Click on it, and here scroll down a bit. So to do app here is a reducer. The first argument is going to be state, the second one is going to be action. So they use if else here. We don't use if else, we use switch case, right? Alright, and how to we create a store. In order to create a store, we need to import it from Redux. Oh shit, from Redux. And then we're gonna use the syntax call store equal to create store to do app, right? Nothing new. I export the file here because I want to export the store in order to consume inside my index.js here. Okay, that's why I export it. In your lab, you define everything inside your index.js, right? But in my case, I create a new folder just for Redux, and then I'm going to import store here. Store from somewhere. Redux. If inside a folder you have an index.js file, you don't have to do it like this. Index. You don't have to. So you can update it. It also works. All right. One more thing. We need to wrap everything. We need to wrap our app with a store. And where is it? Data flow. Not here. Use it with React. Install this one. And too much. These are the old way of using React Redux with class component. Right now we are using a hook, so we can skip all of these. It's very hard to use before. A lot of setup here. And okay, yep, here. Oh no, here. So in order to use a store, we need to pass the store into our application using a higher order component called provider. And provider is a component from React Redux here. So I'm going to copy this line, paste it here, and replace everything here with provider. Okay, I'm going to pass store equals store. Store from here. Store from our folder Redux here, right? Same thing, right? Nothing different. Cool. So we now can use store. So in our app here, we need to like read the state from store. We need to import a library called useSelector, a hook, useSelector, and use what is it? Udispatch from React Redux, I think. If it doesn't work, you can change this one to Redux. I don't know, just try it. And here we can't stay, user. We want to use a user here. The user here. right? We want to wrap this piece of state. Okay. All right. User useSelector state.user. All right. In here we return. I want to return a button, a login button. If there's no user, if there is a user, we return the name of the user. So let's try user question mark button and login. Else, if we already have a user, we can render the name of the user dot name, for example. Okay, and here we have on click equal nothing new. This you already done this one. Dispatch con dispatch equal to use dispatch. Inside dispatch, we're gonna dispatch an object. Inside the object, we have two properties. The first one is gonna be action. No, type. The second one is gonna be payload, right? Type login. And second, payload. Payload is gonna be an object because we want to have a user inside the payload. And this one, the whole object is gonna be a name. For example, I'm Khoa, so I have the name Khoa here. Format everything. Let's see how it works. And start. So oh shit. I have another screen here, let me see. Alright, star is not defined, yes. Which line? Line 22 in file index.js Redux. Go back, index Redux. No, this one. Store is not defined. Except of default store. Where the hell is store not defined? Okay. Cons store equal that, and then we export default store. Okay. Stay assigned to itself. It's just a warning. I don't think it's error. And let's open it. Localhost 2000. We are up. User is known. Yes. The condition is wrong. If not user. If not user, we show the login button here. Okay, if I click the login button, what happened? Nothing happened. Why? Why, guys? That's the error. Doesn't re-render everything, right? Let's see. I'm gonna prove you that the whole app component here is not render again. Console log. If you see me the second time, it means I am re-render. Discard action. Yeah, the whole thing here is action. Right. Let's see what happened. Okay, if you see me the second time, it means I am re-render. Right, let's click it. Bam. Right, I do re-render. No, it does not. Payload, I think use not in. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's another user. Yes. Sorry. Name equal far, and there's another piece. Nice. Good, good, good. Okay, let's click again. There. It works. Why is that? Why is it working? I'm gonna prove that it's not gonna work. This one, user dot name is gonna be the name. It doesn't work. Say user is no. For example, if this one is not no, this one is very hard to replicate. Let's say okay, all right, name equal to empty string, right? See what happened here. If user dot name, right? Okay, you see the button login, but even if I click the button, nothing happened. It does not render again, right? You see the error here, and why is that? I only see that Koi already know this problem because there it's written in the documentation of Redux. useSelector docs hook. Right, here we go. useSelector here, right? Oh my god, my computer is running like crazy. Okay. Oh, it's wrong. Okay, useSelector, basically useSelector, it will grab the previous state and the new state, and then it will compare the two of them, right? If there's a change in the state, it will re-render. If there's no change, it will not re-render. That's how it works. Okay, let's go back and comment out this one. If useSelector here, it compare two stage, previous and next stage. If there's a different, if the state different, the state is different, it will force re-render. All right. Okay. If else will not re-render, and that's what happened with our app here. It does not re-render. You will not see this this line again. Click, 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 click. Yep. Okay. So how do we fix this? Bam, bam. A simple solution here. I will explain why, even though we change the value right here, we change the value inside state dot user object, right? We did not change the object. We just changed the value inside the object. We didn't change the object, and that's the underlying logic of the programming language. Let's go with this one. I'm gonna show you one. I'm gonna show you example. Let a is an object, right? It can be an array or object, doesn't matter. Let's go with an array. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be b equal let b equal a, and I'm now gonna compare a and b. True. A is b, right? So what if I add number 5 into the array a? What happened? A dot append, not append, push 5, right? So what's a? A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, still true. Is it true or false? I'm gonna check again. A is equal to B. Is it true or false? True. And what's the value of B here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's good. Alright. So I'm gonna show you another sample. Let's C equal to a dot slice. Right? And C tang a, true or false? True or false? True. False. It's gonna be false. Why? Magic. Basically, for array and objects, so JavaScript will use the reference. It means the address on the memory location, of our machine to store the information. So it's gonna be called reference. Some other language is gonna be called pointer or memory address. So when we assign an array here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 here to a, it means we assign a is the address of this value. So when we define b equal a, means b also point to also have the same address. So basically, a and b is the same address that point to this location on the memory. But when we do c equal a dot slice, basically this will return a new array which have a different memory location or a different address. So that's why c is not equal to a, even though c is the same, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Let's see. Let d equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see what happens. Is c equal d? False, right? Correct, it's false. So that's why when we do this, user is also the same object. We didn't change the object. We just change the value of that object. Means we change the value of that address, that location, memory location. We didn't change the address. That's why React, it doesn't understand that there's a change in the state. Okay, that's why it didn't render. Still the same, right? So how do we change this one? If you read the documentation carefully, there's a here useSelector, equally comparisons and update. If there's no change, it will not update. So we can either make a shallow equal or maybe like a copy, or similar, we can do something like this. This one is wrong, so I'm going to comment out that and I'm going to redo it. State.user equal, what do we want? We want the name only, right? Name equal to action.payload.user.name. That's long, but it works. Or we can just action.payload.user is okay. So basically here we create another create another reference to action.payload user. Not really a real reference, but no, it's not really real. Create another object which has value of action.payload.user. This one, sorry. Right. Okay, and see what happened. We log in, it does work. Okay, so what if I have another like logs? Log is an array, right? So every time we log in, let's make a function to log out first. Username, that's gonna be a div, and inside that div username okay. Inside the div we're gonna have the first is the username, and the second one is the button to log out. On click equal to same thing, strong, huh? This one. Dispatch type log out. That's it, simple. Inside here we create another case called log out. Case log out, and then state is gonna be state of user is gonna be what? Initial state of user. All right, let's see what happened here. Log in, log out doesn't work. Why? It's not really a class, but I want to explain the difference. Why it's not? It doesn't change. Oh, shit, crap. Log in, log out doesn't work. Something here. State.user equal initial state.user. And why does not work? Can anyone explain? Continue. No one? Really? So what if I return stay here? What happened? Log in, log out, log in, log out. Right. So basically we create a whole new object and then we return that. So that's why the useSelector is understand. So these kind of concepts are very difficult to understand to wrap at first, but like when you do it a lot of times, you will get familiar with it. So the next step, I'm gonna introduce another thing called logs, right? So every time you log in, you will push a log, a number, right? So let's say every time you log in, you're gonna do state.logs push something, just something, so empty string, it's okay. Push and then return a whole new state. There's gonna be a problem, I think. Yes, there's gonna be a problem. and ucy. All right, and then when we log out, we don't assign user equal to initial state. We just want to clear name equal to empty string. User.name equal to empty string. Right. Login doesn't work. Wait, state.log is only fine. Sorry, state.user.logs. Login. State.user.log is only fine. What the hell? State.user.logs. Something wrong there? Oh, holy shit. Dot name equal to, let's say, state is an object, a new object, state.user, comma, dot. So basically I want to keep the key here, the logs. We want to retain the logs key, and then we add one more key, action.payload.user. What's wrong with this? Expect a comma. Where? What's wrong? What comma? User state.user and then a comma.
You need a curly bracket, not a parenthesis.
Oh shit. Why? Yeah. No, what the hell? Just wait a bit. Okay, action the payload user. Why? That's good. That's weird. All right. So we want to retain all keys properties of these two objects, the state.user and the action payload.user. But the user.name here will replace the state.user.name because it behind. It will override the first one. Okay, when I log out, it does not. Because what happened? Because the name, the user.name here on the reference also, you can also do user also.
Instead of the ... action payload user, I think you can do user.
Actually,
I want to. Sorry, never mind.
I want to retain the logs here.
I see. Okay, never mind. Ignore me.
The reason it does not re-render when I click log out, because even though our store actually changed, but let's see, console log state, right? We log in. After we log in, we actually see the file here, right? When we click log out, file is gone, but our component does not re-render. The reason why is the same problem before. The object user here, it does not change, but only the properties name change. That's why useSelector doesn't understand. Our useSelector here doesn't understand that our state has changed. It cannot compare the two states. So we need to fix it by there are a couple of ways. One way is it's very stupid, but we can convert it into a JSON object and then we convert it back to a JavaScript object. That's a very stupid way. Or we can do another way. We retain another. Let's come out this line, right? State.user user equal the same state.user, but the name here we change it. We change to empty string. Okay. Basically, we create a new object, assign the object to the key user here. Right. We return a new state, a completely new state, a copy of the state here. a copy of this state. So that's how useSelector can compare the previous and the next state. Let's see what happened. Log in, log out, still work. Log in, log out, and you actually see the logs here. See, the logs still retain the number of time we log in. It's gonna be 3 now. See? So that's how you like yeah, the key points are making a new object. Also making a new array. It also happens with array, so be careful with that. So like a lot of people run into that problem, and then I fixed the problem. .user, and then there's another problem, the logs here. When you push something, it doesn't re-render the whole component. That's how you like you need to understand why it's happened, and then how to fix it. Cool. I think it's very confusing. Yeah.
This is a common problem in JavaScript. Actually, like, the easiest way to do is always make a copy. So always make a copy. This spread operator, this ... makes it easier. Yeah, you can make a new object for each action. Yeah. We actually recommend that for the most part. And if you want to get really crazy, you can also use something called immutable. So a lot of people this is not so popular anymore, but a lot of people even use something like this. So it's a library you can use in your JavaScript that actually makes it so every time you do anything, it always makes a copy.
Oh yeah.
So this will help you from stopping mistakes. It's also faster in for some reasons, for some scenarios.
Yeah. So just basically just pay attention to the reference, they call it reference. All right. Any questions? Juris is off. Anyone have any questions? So even if you push log, React Engine doesn't recognize it. Yes, because array and object use pointer to point to memory location.
Yeah, so basically the way that internally JavaScript thinks about these objects, if you have the value 1 or 2 or 3 or log out or log in, those are primitive types, meaning that's just the value. So you can think of that bucket. We talked about variables in the very, very first day of class, variables like buckets. So that bucket has like a 1 in it or a 2 in it. But actually an array, an object, or class, or any more complex type is actually there's like a bucket and then inside the bucket, there's another bucket. Because you can have objects inside of objects, inside of objects, inside of objects. So there could be as many buckets inside this bucket as possible. And React, the people who made React realized that. So if you had a really complicated state object that had millions of things, it could get really, really slow to try to travel all through all the buckets, because there could be an infinite number of buckets. So actually what they do is they just look 1 deep for you. So if you change something there, so if you change so that first, it'll go 1 deep, but not inside B.
Let's B equals C, and now let's see A
Super
dot
confusing.
A dot B equal to B dot B. True.
Yeah, so I think like the complexity of this is like you can get really confused, but yeah, so React only goes 1 level deep. So if in this one, if I would change like the inside one of A1, if I change that to 2, React would pick that up and re-render. If I changed something inside B, if I added another like a 4 to B, React would not pick that up because it's too deep for it to go.
So if I do B dot A equal 3, yep, so B is, we have 3 here, but A does not. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's impossible to. You really don't.
It's the other way around, man. What? That's crazy.
You can. It's very confusing. So you shouldn't write code like this.
Yeah. So.
Everyone gets confused by it.
Oh, shit, it's got the other way around. So it's gonna be like A equal B now. Oh shit. So be careful with this. Yeah, JavaScript.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Right.
So how are people feeling about Redux? Is that what people are mostly asking you about, Kwa?
Yeah, they complain that the state doesn't change, and they don't know why.
Okay.
And
yeah, I think we gave you guys some background on Redux. It's something that takes a little while to understand. Most people don't understand it super well, even in like professional stuff. So the goal of our class is just to give you an idea of what it is. So you should have some concept of how you architect code in Redux. Like you have the action, the reducer, and the store. But how deep you want to go with it is kind of more or less optional. You should all be aware of it. Later on your final projects, you may or may not use Redux.
Using Redux, if you want to fetch API, you need to use a middleware.
Yeah, if you want to use any asynchronous changes to the store, you need to use middleware.
So the middleware, you will have actions. It's not going to be an object anymore, it's going to be a function. So basically that's it. I don't want to dive so deep into it. Okay.
People are starting to use Redux a little bit less. So with hooks and stuff and context, you actually have a little bit less need of Redux these days.
Okay. So this part, you can add an action here, an object like this, or you can have a function. It's okay. So basically that's it. Bye bye.
The thing I wanted to check today was, hold on, it's interview prep. Let me pull up the Airtable.